So this is going to be for the Boss Bitches Guide to Conquering Anxiety. And yeah, let's get into the presentation that I have for you. Let's see.
Before we get started, do you mind if I take a little picture with my phone?
Oh, yeah.
So I can post it and tag us later.
Yeah. I was going to do that too. So thank you for remembering.
Yeah, I always forget. That's why.
Okay. Yeah, I always forget too. So it's smart to do at the beginning. All right. Okay. So this is the little presentation that I put together for you guys. And so essentially, what is high functioning anxiety? And I really wanted to talk about high functioning anxiety because it's not even like it's not a medical diagnosis. And here you'll see that it is not a mental medical diagnosis. However, many of those who suffer from high functioning anxiety have the same symptoms as anxiety disorders. Right now, it's not something that they look into. It's more of like a pathway to developing anxiety disorders or depression or other mental illnesses. But the reason why it's not seen as something that is like, as a mental diagnosis is because, or medical diagnosis is because they're functioning, like people are able to function on it. And usually they're a lot more successful in like societal terms than, but however, it's like they're successful on the outside, but on the inside, it's like the quality of life is lowered. So instead of withholding you in life, your anxiety will propel you forward. So your anxiety, instead of like just stopping you and keeping you stagnant and where you're at, the anxiety has you, going for ambitious goals. And so typically this stems from belief systems that were ingrained within us since childhood. So again, it doesn't look like a problem on the outside, but on the inside, it could be inner turmoil depending on the person and how aware they are of it. And so how does high functioning anxiety show up in your life? It will show up as you being drained and tired all the time. You find yourself procrastinating a lot, and then it's like, oh crap, like I have to do all this work, and then you get burnout. Especially with like the ambition, it's like you're able to pull it off, but if like say you have a project or something and you're at work, but you're an entrepreneur and it's like, you have all these great ideas, I'm pretty sure, and you're able to do them and you're capable of doing them. And but the thing is like there's also a belief within you that says that you're not capable, or some internal belief that you have that you're not worthy of it, or whatever the means may be, to where you start procrastinating. But the whole time you're thinking about, what's going on and like what process you have to go through. And so, but you procrastinate until then. So you're always thinking about your project. And that's why you're able to do a good job on your projects, is because you're thinking about it the whole time, but you're just not actually doing it. And so when you procrastinate that long, and you keep thinking about it, it's like you get this mental fatigue and then you burn out because you have to overwork yourself in a short amount of time, instead of expanding your time over a weekly basis or a daily basis. It can show up as overthinking. It can show up as worry or anxious about the future. So, of course, like anxiety. I always liked this quote for this. And to gauge where I'm at in my life. And it's been, if I'm sad, I'm thinking too much about the past. If I'm worried and anxious, I'm thinking too much about the future. And so when you're present, you're able to be calm and peaceful. Inability to make authentic connections with people. So with this one, it's like, you're a people pleaser, or in social situations you just feel awkward, like you don't feel like you're able to connect with other people. Self-esteem issues shows up as self-esteem issues, self-worthiness issues, confidence issues. Again, off or awkward social interactions, if you feel those more often than not. And also, it shows up as a lacking mindset. And so, what are the symptoms of high functioning anxiety? So, you get poor sleeping patterns. Usually, like people with high functioning anxiety have a hard time getting up and going to bed at the normal, like societal standards of time. The anxiety will keep you up at night because you're just thinking about it too much, which then goes into mental fatigue because you're always thinking about whatever you're thinking about, which is usually the future. People pleasing and poor boundaries. And so this also goes into the realm of like why you're tired all the time and why you're drained all the time, because you're always people pleasing. And the fear of failure is running you. If you are afraid to fail and you get stagnant, you get stuck. You get stuck in a place because you are afraid to move forward. Like you're afraid to fail. Like you don't want to look bad. And so that's where perfectionism comes in. And you will spend like every waking moment that you have on like one thing for like a whole week that you could have gotten done in a day just because you want it to be perfect. When routine is messed up, you get upset. I know for me as a mom, or I guess it could be also like I know you have your little doggies, and it could be just anything that throws your routine off your routine. So, or whatever you have planned for the day. So, with Lennon, if he is in a terrible mood and he does not want to do anything, he doesn't want to go to school, he doesn't want to whatever, and it pushes my time back, I know I get thoroughly upset because, and I have to calm myself down in those heated moments because it's like my whole routine is thrown off, and now it's like I have to rush to do everything. And so when you don't schedule your full day out and you don't pack on a ton of stuff and get that burnout, then and you don't procrastinate, and you wouldn't have to have these problems. So difficulty relaxing and feels like you always need to be doing something. So this can show up as like by not taking vacations, not taking the time to actually sit down and relax and watch TV and just like chill your brain out because you're always thinking about something that you have to be doing. Or you, even if you don't have anything to do, you're just like, what is there to do? And in this instance, it could be like you just start cleaning the house for no reason whatsoever. Or you just find some stuff to do to always be busy. Inability to have intimate relationships, substance use or abuse for coping, indecisiveness, and nervous physical repetitive habits. So this is like nail biting, like rolling your neck, or like, you know, just like things where you like repetitively do it, like pens, like if you click your pen a lot, joint cracking, all of those are symptoms of high functioning anxiety. So anxiety causes a low quality of life. Your overall well-being suffers. So this is, again, your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health suffers. And especially if you're being sleep deprived, if you're not taking care of yourself, and you know you're saying yes to everyone, you're people pleasing, you're not saying no to people, your schedule gets like so overbooked, like you don't have the time to take care of your mental health. And when you don't set boundaries with people, you tend to, you know, overbook your schedule, and then that means that you're eating fast food or something, eating food that's not good for you, not taking time for your own self-care, not getting workouts in like you want to because you're trying to help everyone else do everything else. Your relationships suffer because as a people pleaser, it's like when you keep saying yes to people, you're saying no to you. And you're essentially lying to people when you do this, when you're not speaking your truth and you keep telling people yes, when in actuality you want to say no. And so it creates resentment within inside of you. And when you start creating that type of resentment, it it bottles up, and you're not going to communicate it with other people. You're not going to be open enough or vulnerable enough with other people because you're already not sharing your truth. And so it's like when you pack on these lies, it's sort of when you have a meltdown or a um, emotional outburst is what I call them, then you tend to end up hurting the other person because you yourself were holding on to some sort of resentment or revenge, and that's your way of letting them know when you could have from the beginning just told them no in a calmer manner. But you wait until you get triggered, and it just goes off and sets off that emotional outburst. You want to get somewhere, but you feel no progress. So here it's like you have to define what success is for you. And it's like you're always listening, people pleasers, poor boundaries. You're listening to what everyone else is saying. And when you're listening to what everyone else is saying, you get lost with your own inner voice. And when you're not aligned with your own inner voice, then that's where you feel like you're not making progress because you're not on your life path. You're not following what you want to do. You're out of alignment with your soul. And when you're out of alignment with your soul, it shows up in your life and it comes up as anxiety because you're not being truthful with your own self. It leads to depression. So lower vibrate. When you're in the state of fear a lot, fear, anger, whatever it may be with anxiety, that's a low vibrational emotion. So the more that you're there, it leads to depression. And then after depression, or even lower than that, is death, essentially. And that's on the emotional, frequency vibrational scale. Death is zero frequency, and I think depression is at 20 and fear is a little bit above that. You feel like you're lacking in your life and unfulfilling. It's an unfulfilling way to be. Like when you're always anxious, you don't feel fulfilled because you're always in a state of worry. You're not present in the moment. You're always in the future. You're always thinking about the future, and you're always thinking about what if this happens? What if that happens? So how do you conquer your anxiety is by becoming aware of your patterns. You have to become aware of all the patterns within your life that you see happening, that you see going on. You figure out what your belief systems and programs are coming out into your life. So what do you have ingrained within your subconscious mind that is triggering your anxiety to go off? Your inner child healing, or you do inner child healing, and I'll get more into what that is in the slides after this. You start rewiring your brain. And when I say rewiring, I mean you're going to start literally rewiring the pathway that the neurons in your brain go so that you can conquer anxiety. It takes time. All of this is going to take time. It just depends on how fast you are willing to do it and how fast you're willing to start implementing these actions within your life. Relationship check. So this is going to be the checkpoint of how your relationships are in your life. Relationships are a great pinpoint to show you exactly where you are in your life. You want to get clear on what you want out of life, not what anyone else wants, what you want. Develop trust with yourself, get comfortable being uncomfortable, and letting go of control. So moving on to the next one. So become aware of your patterns and sit down and actually ask yourself these questions. What outcomes or results keep happening in my life? If it's, of course you want to talk about the good stuff, but the good stuff is not going to help you progress forward. Yes, reflecting upon the good stuff and what you have accomplished is great and seeing what has worked. However, you want to be brutally honest with yourself in this one. You are responsible for you, and you have to own you have to own that responsibility. So what are the results that keep happening within your life that you're not happy of? Think of all the things that you're not okay with. What are my reoccurring feelings and emotions? And what your results, by your results, how you feel about them by what you're actually feeling. It's not good by the way you're feeling, is what I should say. It's not a serving pattern, because if it was a serving pattern, you would be happy and joyful and not anxious. You would be in the higher vibrational states versus the low vibrational states. And then again, look at what type of relationships do I have in my life, and what tends to be the pattern with my relationships. So I know for me, I had a bunch of friends who I never felt I could connect with. I felt like I was always an outcast. I always felt like no one really listened to me, paid attention to me. I was just there as a backup for whenever someone needed something, or they didn't have anyone else to hang out with. And so that was my type of friendships. And I kept wondering, well, why does this keep happening? And I realized because I kept playing the pattern of people pleasing, and I attracted essentially toxic people who didn't really have a care for my well-being, but they had just had a care for their own well-being. And if you don't know what your patterns are, follow your habits, follow your daily routine thing. What is something that you do every day? Habits make up your life. And if you just follow what your habits are, you're able to see what type of patterns are in your life, because your subconscious mind is it's so much bigger and vast than your conscious mind. Your conscious mind is in your prefrontal cortex, while the subconscious mind takes up the rest of your mind. And that part is where your habits are. And so it's like you could always look to willpower to always change. But the thing is that willpower is in your conscious mind, while your habits are in your subconscious mind. And so when you have these two battling out, you have a ginormous thing against like an itty bitty little, I don't know, let's say, what do I want to use this as? Analogy. I guess you can see it as like a big, huge tarantula. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but like spider thing, and then you're up against like a little itty bitty gnat. So it's like those two against each other. Who's going to win? The gnat's going to get stuck in the web, and then the tarantula is going to eat the little gnat. So your subconscious mind is that. Your subconscious mind is going to overpower your conscious mind. How are we doing on time? Okay. And so you want to figure out what belief systems and programs are coming out into your life. So again, what belief systems do you have embedded within your subconscious mind? And your belief systems, they make up the majority of your belief systems and programs that you have within your mind right now is from the ages 1 through 6. 80% of your programs and beliefs stem from the ages 1 through 6 years old. And so knowing that, and especially if you didn't have like a great childhood, or it's not even that you don't even have to have like a wonderful childhood, but if you didn't have like consciously aware parents that knew this, it's like you took on their beliefs about themselves as well. You took on the beliefs that played out within your life with your parents or your parental figures. And not just that, your teachers or whomever you were around, and from events that happened within your life. And so say like being a woman, you were always told to not play dangerously. Don't go up there and jump off whatever, because that's too crazy. You have to wear dresses. You have to play nice. Don't scrape your legs because your legs are beautiful. Like you don't want to get any scarring. Like girls shouldn't get scars. And and then on the other side is like boys, like they can go be freaking crazy and like jump off of everything. And so it's like you develop a belief system within you, like, okay, well, girls are supposed to keep it together while men can just go be crazy. And so that could be a belief system that's within your subconscious mind. And you develop survival programs to play that out. And so a survival program for that example would probably be again, like you just don't do anything crazy. You don't go on roller coasters. Like you're really wary of anything that deals with being crazy. So you just stay away from it altogether. This could also come up as like, maybe becoming a hypochondriac and you're just worried about being sick all the time. And so again, you don't want to go and touch anything. You don't want to be, or you just don't want to get hurt in general. So you just stay away from it. Example, so I need to work on earning others' respect. So this is one that I used to think about a lot. I need to work really hard to earn everyone's respect. I am a young woman in this world and in the professional world, I should say. And I don't have as much experience as the next person. And so I really have to work hard to earn my superiors' respects. And so this was something that was ingrained within me because when looking back to my childhood, I was always told respect your elders. If I were to say something that I knew and they were like, no, that's not actually it. Like the parental figures, either my dad or my brother or my parents or grandparents, they'd be like, you should just listen to your elderlies. This would play out to where I was like, okay, well, I guess I have to respect my elderlies. I should not intervene. And I have to get them to just over time notice my work by respecting them and by just the work that I put out. And so the programs that play out are perfectionism and the fact that I would be overworking myself so that I can get whomever's respect. So those are just like ways to go about it. You can, for your belief systems, when you find something within your beliefs and they just come out. I have like a list, I have a journal and a list of mine. And so just write out all of your beliefs that you do have, that it could be good, it could be bad. It doesn't really even matter. They're just the beliefs that you have. It's not good, it's not bad, it's not negative. But if you do want to transform your beliefs, then you have to become aware of them. And when you become aware of them, that is when you're able to go to the other side of the page and write down all the beliefs that you do want to have. And so you start implementing affirmations within your life and you start rewiring your brain again to tell yourself, well, this is the type of belief system I want ingrained within my subconscious mind. I don't want this other belief anymore. So inner child healing. Everyone has an inner child. And when I say inner child, this is, again, how I was saying that 80% of our belief and programs come from the ages 1 through 6. And essentially, it's a bunch of like 6-year-olds running around this whole world and ruling the world. It's just like I think it's 10% after this. So from 1 through 12, like 90% of your beliefs and programs follow you into adulthood. That's all that you have right now. And so it's a bunch of like 12-year-olds running this world and playing beliefs that they have been ingrained within them since those ages. So it's like really, I think that's really funny. I think about it and when you see people and whether they be angry or whatever, that's like something that triggered within inside of them. That's their inner child yelling. And so like, some people throw tantrums when they get angry. And I'm pretty sure you've seen older people throw tantrums, especially when they go to the store after Christmas and they want to return something, but they can't return something. And so they take it out on the cashier or whomever over there. That is their inner child, their wounded inner child, trying to grasp for control into their life. And so another example of this is where a belief could have stemmed from. And this is sort of when you're doing this type of healing, this is what you want to go through. These are the steps that you want to go through when you're talking to your inner child, because inner child healing is so important. Yes, you have to be honest. You have to really be brutally honest with yourself, but you also have to be really loving. So there needs to be a balance in your life where you're being strict upon yourself, but also, that nurturing, caring, loving side of you for your inner child. It just depends on you and how you need to be loved. And every person's different. but you are the only person that's going to know what you need, because you are the only person who has gone through all the different events in your life. And so if you were reprimanded as a child for breaking a VHR tape that had your father's favorite movie on it, and when I say like reprimanded, like grounded or spanked or whatever your father yelled at you, you thought you were helping him by rewinding it though. And your father did not ask you like why you did this. He was just like, you're a terrible child and you broke my VHR. You broke my favorite movie that I want to watch. And now I can't watch it anymore. And so, but you just wanted to rewind it for him so that he could watch it again that same night. And so from that action, from your father reprimanding you for that, you became scared to take the initiative and to help out again. And so as an adult now, you shy away from helping others. If someone's car is broken down in the street, like you're like, okay, no, I'm not going to go over there and help them. There's other stuff at play there, but don't talk to strangers or whatever. Or it's even like, say a friend is going through, you have a friend that you're with and she's getting yelled at by some random woman at the store for, I don't know, stepping on her shoes by accident. And so like you just shut down and you run away from it and you're just quiet, even though you want to say something. And so when you go through this stuff and you become aware again of your beliefs and you feel your anxiety coming up, you want to talk to your inner child. And again, you want to forgive yourself too. You want to be able to forgive yourself. And when you're able to be able to forgive yourself, you're able to forgive your parents for not giving you all of the things that you need. Forgiveness is such a huge thing. It's not for other people, it's for you. And when you're talking to your inner child, you have to forgive yourself. And you have to be like, you're just talking to you when you're going through this. So I would typically do this on my way home from work. When I used to be like just extremely anxious about everything all the time, all day, every day. And I would be driving home and I would just be like, man, like I was so stupid for that. Like I'm not making it. And I would just, start beating myself. I'm not making enough money at this job. I made this wrong error. Like, even though I did really, really good, everyone always said I did good, but it was like my internal dialogue that was hurting me and bounding me to like sort of like this prison that I created within my mind. And so there'd be times where I'd just be like, okay, hold on, stop for a second. And this is where we're going to go into rewiring. Stop right here. Stop going down this negative path that you're going down. And like, why do you believe this? Ask yourself, like, where did this come from? Like, why are you telling yourself this right now? Those are important questions to ask when you're trying to talk to your inner child. And, sometimes stuff will pop up that you didn't even remember. Like your subconscious mind just remembers it out of nowhere. And you're just like, wow. And again, long-term memory, it's stored within the subconscious mind. And so you're like, wow, I totally forgot all about that event. And then you go down more. So like, how did it make me feel? Well, it made me feel crappy. And so when you are talking to that inner child, just be like, well, you know what? There's no more need to feel crappy anymore about it. There's no more need to feel scared. And so, I got you. You're okay. And that's the way you want to be talking to yourself. Like, there's no need to be anxious right now in this moment. Talk your fears out as if you're going to be talking to a friend, but you have to learn how to talk to yourself and heal your inner child, because no one else can do that for you. No one else is able to go in and essentially talk to you. They can talk to you if you open up to them. But again, learning how to do this yourself, you have to train yourself to do it. You have to train yourself to be that person that tells yourself good. Because again, it's like if you keep going back to the same friend over and over and over again, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, this person just keeps talking about the same thing. But or venting about the same, but you're not doing anything about it. So do something about it. Train yourself to talk to your inner child and work on it. Okay, so start rewiring your brain. Anxiety is normal. Everyone has anxiety. It's evolutionary. Humans tend to focus on the negative thoughts versus the positive ones. It's just human nature. Again, evolutionary. That's what we needed for survival. 80% of our thoughts are negative. However, you can shift your focus. Yes, 80% of our thoughts are negative. That's because of everything that's outside of us, pretty negative outside of us, but you can shift your focus. So Tony Robbins, does this thing where it's like, okay, I want you to look around the room. Look around the room and find everything that's red. Okay, red shirt, red shoes, red pants, red belt, red chairs, red curtains, red, 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 red. And then he goes and asks, okay, well, what about all the brown stuff in the room? Did you see anything that was brown? And you're going to be like, well, no, I saw everything that was red. It's because you're focused on red. So you want to shift your focus from all of the things that you are lacking, all of the negative things in your life, to all of the positive things. And here is, I put neurons here on the screen. And so this is a neuron right here. These are these are the things that send electrical signals within your nervous system. And so your nervous system is made of all of these cells. And right here says you have to stop that negative thought in its tracks. So your brain is used to taking this pathway. And then it goes and goes that way. Well, I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy of love. Love doesn't exist. I can never make $1 million. Whatever it may be, that's the same pathway that you keep following. And so you have to be well, I'm not worthy. You have to cut it off. When you start saying I'm not worthy, cut it off right there. Right here is where you want to cut it off and be like, no, I am worthy. And start working it out. It's working out again. When you start developing this new pathway, those neurons, that pathway will get stronger. It's just like working out muscles. Say you work out your right arm all the time, but you don't work out your left arm. Your right arm is going to be stronger because you use it more than your left arm. And so that's what you want to do. You sort of want to work out your right arm more instead of your left arm. So, but don't do that physically wise. Just do that neuro wise. So, and then also this will switch, to an abundance mindset. Oh, an abundance mindset switch. When you start doing that, gratitude journaling and accomplishment journaling. So one way I was able to tackle this was I started writing down everything I was grateful for in a journal. And I got this from Oprah Winfrey. And she said she every morning writes down 5 things she's grateful for and 5 things she's proud of for herself. And this will start rewiring your brain to think and focus on 1, the positive, and 2, also to start being proud of yourself and just being okay with what you have done, because people with anxiety, they tend to forget all the things that they have done already versus what they have to do. So start focusing on all of your accomplishments, because you are enough, you are worthy of all that you desire, and you are highly capable. Just look at all of your accomplishments. Okay, relationship check. So your life is just a reflection of your inner reality. The way someone reacts to your actions is not your responsibility. This one is a big one because, again, for all my people pleasers and people with poor boundaries, if someone is mad at you, it is not because of you. It is because there's something within them that gets triggered by an action of their outside world. If they are sad or upset or angry or fearful, because it's not because of you. It is because they are not willing to deal with something within them. And so they react because it's like a previous, event that happened within their life. And so they're used to being angry. And so when you trigger that off, they're going to be angry because maybe you reminded them of what their father used to do to them as a child. And so they never went inside and worked on that within themselves. And I think this is also important to note because you're not being yourself. When you're people pleasing and when you're not setting boundaries, you are not being your most authentic self. And if you just take this into account and you realize that whatever anyone else is doing is not because of you, it's never because of you. Their disappointment with you, if they are to be disappointed, is not because of you. It is because of something that's going on within themselves, like internally. They could be disappointed with you because they themselves were like, well, I was really hoping that she could do it because I could never do it. So that's why I'm disappointed, because I would have seen that and been like, I'm so happy for her. However, she didn't do it. So now I'm like mad at both of, I'm mad at me because I didn't do it either. And I could have been an example. So that could just be something within their reality that they have to go through on their own. And again, everyone has their own reality. And again, realizing this, like, you don't have to please people. It's not your responsibility to please other people. It's not your responsibility to make them feel good about themselves, because if someone's going to feel bad and be unhappy, that is on them. That is their responsibility. And it's also your responsibility for yourself as well. And they have to own that. It is not your duty to go and fix people. They have to, they may not need to be fixed. I don't believe people need to be fixed, but I feel like they have to go in and transform their thoughts and their beliefs so that they can heal. They also need to do a lot of healing work so that, like everyone else, everyone has to do healing work so that they can be happy within themselves and be happy for themselves. It's not your responsibility to make anyone happy but you. And set strong boundaries. Set strong boundaries with people. Like, drop the people you're trying to please. If you're setting boundaries and you start setting these boundaries, you go to work and this person asks you to help them for like the 100th time on a simple task just because they know you're really good at it and they're just too lazy to do it, or whatever it means, or they ended up talking too much. You, instead of being like, yes, I'll help you, even though it's going to take an hour of your time, easy, but it's going to take an hour of your time away from your work. And so you might even have to stay an hour behind or ditch your lunch break because you decided to say yes to this person. So no, you're going to say no, because every time you say no to something that is not going to serve you, you are saying yes to everything that is going to serve you. So when you say no to something that's not good for you, you're saying yes to your happiness. So remember that, like, your happiness is key, and you have to start switching your mindset to be that you are the priority in your life. Again, because you're responsible yourself, and it's not anyone's job to make you happy but you. And, if they don't want to listen, or family members who go past your boundaries, drop the people. Drop them. Drop all the people you're trying to please. Okay, so I'm going back to my family, and I would always be like, well, whenever I made a life decision, any sort of decision, like my brother would be number one for me. My brother would be disappointed in me. It was one of the reasons why I did not start my business the way I wanted to, or that's why it took me so long to start my business, is because I was just like, my family would not be proud of me. They would not be like, why are you doing this? They would say that you're crazy and this and that and all the other stuff. And I was afraid to share my story too, because I was afraid about sharing about my story with Dan, and I was worried about his family. But when I had the courage enough and I spoke out about it, I realized that they had my back the whole time. It was just my own internal dialogue and my own beliefs that I was going through that inhibited me from going, again, belief systems, also bullshit, limiting beliefs that hold you back. And my brother, well, I don't talk to my brother. So good. Because if you have anyone who's jealous, angry, upset, or disappointed in you, you do not want to have that low frequency in your life anyway. I had to drop my mother because, again, I was always trying to please her, and it became a toxic, reoccurring thought. And you just want to drop the people that you find that you're trying to please, but you can never please them anyway. If like, oh, it doesn't matter what I do, they'll never be happy, drop them. don't talk to them anymore, or limit your time with them. And again, it takes courage to speak up. It takes courage, to be vulnerable with people. And again, stop lying and, speak what is on your mind. And when you purchase anything from me, or if you have access, whenever you purchase anything from me, you have access to the Goddess Glow group page, where you can connect with other women, and you can get feedback, you can practice, and you can make connections. And these are women who are just like you. And so if you're looking for that intimate relationship, or even just with friends, and intimate is not just it's not just like with a lover. When I say intimacy, it's like intimacy is like into me, I see. So start creating intimacy within yourself. Start getting to know yourself. Intimacy is something that it's a closeness, with other people. And when you're not intimate with your own being, you're not able to be intimate with other people. And, connect with other people and be vulnerable with other women who want the same thing as you. They're struggling with intimacy too. And so go and make friends within this group page. That's why it's there. So next, the relationship check standpoint. I'm going to look at the time. Okay, I'm going to hurry up. Stop lying about how you feel. Just stop it. Be honest about how you feel. If you can't tell someone how you feel, drop them. Just drop them. It's okay. Who cares? Again, it's not your responsibility to make this person happy. Like, move on with it. Boss bitches know this, and they do not have time for people who make them feel bad about themselves. They do not have time for it at all. The more you embody love and understanding within yourself, the easier it is to attract loving and understanding relationships into your life. Start making that within you. Start getting intimate with yourself. Start loving yourself. And when you are the number one priority. I do not care what anyone says. You are number one. All right. Boss bitches know this. Like, you cannot pour your cup into other people when it's not overflowing. When you do, that is why you get drained. When you don't have the energy, you are not at your highest potential. And when you're not at your highest potential, then you're not out there helping other people, stand on your shoulders, just like you want to be. Like you're a boss bitch. Like, you are that ambitious woman who wants to help people. And then here we go. Oops. Nope, that's not it. Stop share. 1 second. I'm gonna pause. There you go. That's it.
Okay.
It's okay. Don't like that you can't record it just from anywhere on the screen. You have to stop your share to record. Okay.
Oh, okay.
One second. It is recording. Okay, so I'm just going to drill this into you real quick. But again, it is your responsibility, and you're number one. And again, your cup needs to be overflowing to pour out into other people in your life. I think this is the biggest thing too. Again, because people with anxiety issues, they are people pleasers. You have to get that drilled into your head that it is not your job to make other people happy. And so, again, talk to people who understand you, be that a friend, a family member, a therapist, and or a life coach, or not just understand you, but someone who's willing to listen to you and willing to, walk you through your anxieties, walk you through what you're anxious about. Especially too, if you're in a toxic home, if you're in a toxic environment and you're around people who you can't really talk to. Every time you talk to them, they're just like, what? What do you mean? Or again, they make you feel those low vibe emotions. Those are not the people that you want to be talking to. What I'm talking to is, say, I ended up moving, I ended up moving in with Jackie, and I did not realize how toxic I was being to myself until I started opening up my my thoughts with her. She would be like, well, why do you think this? And she would ask me the questions like, why do you think this? Like, what's up? Like, or she would just be like, well, that's actually outrageous. I don't know why you think that. And I'd be like, okay. And I would sit there and actually like, well, that's not normal. Like, she doesn't think this way. So maybe I'm the one who's having issues. And she's, my friend, she is very, I'm saying it like you know her, but like I'm saying this for like future viewers is that she's very communicative and she has her head on right. And she's also very understanding. And so that's like the type of friend that you want, and loving, not someone who's going to beat you down about your anxieties or just tell you to get over it. You want that friend to ask you the questions. And if you don't have that friend or family member, then a therapist or a life coach is really good, because when you get stuck in your own mind, you get stuck in that cycle. And that's what happens when you don't ask for help, is that you get stuck in your own toxic cycle. So get clear on what you really want out of your life. When you are clear about what you want, then you have a direction to go into. And then where you need to be in your life so that you can achieve your divine purpose, your soul purpose, so that you can get aligned with your higher self and, just be happy. Many of your beliefs stem from other people and they're not your own. So like, you can't make $1 million in just 1 year. Well, there are people who have made $1 million in a year. So why can't I make $1 million in a year? It's because you have that limiting belief. Many beliefs stem from others, or you heard that other people, they couldn't do it. So how can you do it? And that's the thing, is like, that's their belief. That's what they put on themselves. So like, are you going to take that belief too and put it on yourself? So it just depends. It all really depends on like what your beliefs are. And as a people pleaser, you lose yourself. Again, because you're trying to fit into an image, into this thing, or to whatever it is, so that you can please other people. And so when you get over the fact that when you are just yourself, you attract people that are good for you anyway. When you are being yourself and you're not being fake and you're not lying and you're not feeling guilty about lying, which again, guilt or angry, I probably like lived off of anger for the longest time, because I would be angry at other people because I wasn't being my authentic self. I was holding on to that resentment because I decided to do everything for everyone else and I still wasn't happy with myself and I wasn't aligned with myself. So I wasn't angry at them. I wasn't angry at life. I was actually angry at myself. And so when you're in those low vibrational states too, it's really hard. As a people pleaser, it's really hard to get yourself out of them. And when you're not being a people pleaser, you're in the more like high vibe stuff. You're grateful because you have people around you that you don't need to please, and you're able to be your authentic self with. You're at peace. Peace is an enlightened. Those are high vibe states. Loving, and you're actually care, and like you're giving, and that sort of state. And when you're in those high vibrational emotions, it's easier to attract those opportunities that you want in your life. Like higher vibrational opportunities, things, whatever it is that you want in your life, typically is going to be a higher vibe state, unless you want to be depressed. Then okay, then be depressed. It's not my problem. But and then to get in tune with your natural gifts. Everyone has natural gifts, but it's like you downplay it because society has told you what you need to be good at. And also, being the boss bitch that you are, I know that you can be great at everything that you set your mind to, but there are natural gifts that you have. So, oh no. Okay, my internet connection is unstable. Can you hear me well? You good? Is it like shaky? Okay.
Yeah, now I can hear you. It froze just a bit ago, but now it's good.
All right. Yeah, my internet connection has just been so weird. Okay. Practice getting in tune with your intuition. Intuition feels light, loving, and calm. Ego feels constricting, hectic, and heavy. So like you're going to always have the two battling against each other, but being able to differentiate your intuition between your ego is going to help you so much. And to do this, to really get and hone in on what you really want out of your life, I created a workshop for this, and it's the Goddess Alignment Workshop. And you align with your higher self, and you manifest your dream life in here. And this could be found in my online learning gallery at raygrillo.com. So if you don't know, you don't have any direction in your life, this is it right there. That's how you're going to do it. Develop trust with yourself. You are more powerful than you think you are. You are extremely powerful. You are a powerful creator. And the more you listen to yourself, the more trust is going to be developed. Like, listen to your intuition again. Your intuition is light, airy. Like, your intuition, it knows some shit. So follow your intuition. You know, ever know you're like, this is how I can best describe it for you is, oh man, I knew this was going to happen. I should have like waited, or I should have gotten this, or I should have gotten that. Like, that's your intuition. And then so like that backlash is like, well, that's what you get for not listening to your intuition. So just listen to yourself anyway. You know yourself best out of everyone else. And your intuition is usually not wrong, especially, you know, women have really great intuition. And everyone is figuring out life just like you are. You know, you're going to know yourself best. The way that you develop trust with yourself is just knowing that, okay, well, this person, do they really have it figured out? Like, why am I taking advice from this person when they're figuring out shit just like me? I might as well just listen to myself, because whenever I listen to anyone else with my people pleasing, I always end up unhappy. So why not change it around for one time and actually listen to yourself and see where you get yourself to be? Which is it's a lot farther than anyone else can take you. When you trust yourself, you can trust others, and then also trust in the universe. The universe has your back. You know, boss bitches, or what I say, goddesses or queens, they know how to listen to their intuition. They follow it. They are spiritually aligned with their higher self. They are aligned with the universe. They trust the universe, and they use the universe as their, I don't know, like a can't. The first thing that came to me is a cane. They hold on to their universe. They just trust it and they go along with it. Okay, sorry. I think Max was like meowing back there. And then again, accomplishment journaling is going to help you with this. Like, start training your mind to look at all the stuff that you have accomplished. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. So continue growing, stretching, learning, transforming. And when I say stretching, I mean like stretching out your inner being. Like, yeah, you can stretch too if that's a stretch for you. But like just doing things that are uncomfortable with you. Nothing good comes from your comfort zone. Fear of the unknown is what is holding you back. Fear of failure. So when you start practicing this mentality and you put yourself in uncomfortable states and you just practice it, you know, stuff just isn't scary anymore. You're like, okay, well, I did that, and I did that, and I did that one. So, I mean, I haven't done this one yet, but I've done all these things, so I can definitely do that. And when you start developing that, it just gets easier, and the anxiety goes away. I mean, it's always there. You will always have anxiety, because evolutionary wise, that's just what happens. But for the high function anxiety just will go away. In my personal experience, I have seen it rise and like fall. So if I'm out of alignment with who I am, and if I'm people pleasing, I'm not speaking my truth, if I'm not following these steps, I notice my anxiety coming back. And when I'm not, or when I am doing all these things, I notice my anxiety is extremely low, and I am able to function better, and I have a much better feeling and happiness in life.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey.
Unstable internet again. I switched to my phone.
Okay.
Yeah. So it might be a little shaky, but okay. So doing this again. Alrighty. Okay, moving on. Letting go of control. You cannot control the past. You cannot control the future. You cannot control your environment. Are you there? Can you hear me? You're just okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Um, the only thing that you can control in your life is how you react to the things that are external of you. Again, everything is a reflection of what's going on. So when you get triggered, why are you getting triggered? What events occurred for you to start developing this emotion every time the same event happens to you? And if you're looking to control something in your life, control your thoughts. Anxiety comes from trying to control all of your external environment. But the thing is you have to let go and you have to know that you cannot control anything other than yourself. You have no power over anyone else. That is God's gift. God's gift was free will. Everyone has free will. This is the conscious mind. This is where it resides within your conscious mind. And everyone has free will. So you cannot bend people to what you want them to do just because you want to have control over something. That's your ego speaking. That's not your intuition. Your intuition is loving and light, and it knows that free will is there. And so when you understand that the only thing that you can control is yourself, um, life gets so much easier and it becomes so much more fulfilling because you're not, you're letting go of your attachments to the outside world versus keeping that hold onto things which are not beneficial for you. That grasp, that white knuckling onto your attachments and how things should be and how things should run and how things should go is what is causing you unhappiness. All unhappiness is because of an attachment to something. So let go of that control. And this involves awareness. This involves you being brutally honest with yourself. This involves you trusting in yourself and following your intuition and also willing to get out of your comfort zone. You have to let go and allow the universe to do its job in helping you. Know that you are being divinely guided by the universe. And when you know that you're being divinely guided to fulfill your soul mission, your soul contract, your life purpose, then it's also scary. It's scary letting go of it and just trusting in things. Um, but again, get out of your comfort zone and keep practicing that. And the more you practice, you'll see miracles. And then I also added in this impasse or highly sensitive people or a person. Um, I added this because I'm an empath. And I feel like a lot of my anxiety too came from that. And a lot of empaths are wounded empaths. And if you're on here and you're watching this right now, it's because I attracted you. Most likely, we attracted each other. And you're an empath or you're a highly sensitive person. And what empaths are essentially is that you can feel what other people are feeling. You know what they're feeling, and you're like a natural lie detector because you can just feel when other people are lying to you. So the psychological explanation to this is because in your childhood, you as a highly sensitive person, um you had to sort of anticipate how your environment was going to be. So say you had a mother, for instance, and you didn't know how her emotions were going to be when she got home from work. You sort of just had to like guess, okay, is there all the stuff clean? Is all the laundry put away? Are all the dishes done? Or all these done so that she does not have to yell at me for any reason whatsoever? And some days will be good, and then some days will be bad. There's just something that she would nitpick uh, to point out to you that you had to do, you didn't do, whatever it may be. And so you had to just anticipate that. Or say like you had a father who um as being a girl, like he was always like, you can't bruise yourself up, you can't like scrape your knees or whatever it may be. I feel like dads and daughters have like different relationships than dads and sons, um but it's like that's what they told you. And so if you did get scratched up or something, you had to sort of anticipate like how they were going to feel about it. And then you would go to people please. You would go and hide your scars or bruises or whatever it may be. So that you didn't have to feel that ill feeling that you would feel from your parental figure. And the reason for this also, like physically wise, is that we empaths have mirror neurons, which can mirror other people's neurons and what their neural pathways are going. And so this one is very like high tuned, these mirror neurons. And then in like psychopaths, they're a lot lower. And in empaths, they're a lot higher. And so brain wise, when you come in contact with another person's electromagnetic, or sorry, their energetic field, or your heart sends out electromagnetic pulses. And so everyone does this. All their hearts do. It just depends on how far it goes, depending on how healthy you are. And so your mirror neurons will get triggered to mirror other people's neurons and whatever their whatever their physiology is going through and whatever they're feeling. And you're able to again feel that because you come in contact with their energetic field. And so you're able to feel what they're feeling because of this. And again, when you as an empath develop your skills, you are able to feel what people are feeling like across the room. Even you can start feeling how people are feeling across the world, depending if you're connected with them. If you have cords with someone, someone, you can tune into that energy, into their energy field, and you can feel it out. There's different types of empaths. So when it's like there's different things that some empaths are really in tune with. I know some empaths that are really good with love stuff. I know some empaths that are good with animals. They can literally feel what animals are feeling or see what animals are feeling. And me being the type of empath that I am, I'm able to feel blockages within someone, and I'm able to feel if someone is either lying to me, or if they have like a wall that they're not able to get over. And so that's what makes me a great life coach, because I'm able to feel that. I'm able to feel that blockage, or I'm able to also feel if there has been any growth within someone. And as an empath, you need to protect your energy. If you don't protect your energy, then by setting boundaries and by shielding your energetic field from people, you're always going to be drained. So it's really important to do this. And I have an empath series coming out soon, so stay in tune and watch my my stories and stuff for when my empath course comes out. And so that's mostly it. And that's what I wanted to go over for this. I wanted to go over ways to work with me in 2021. If you feel like this really resonated with you and you need, again, that friend or that coach that you just need to help you get through your healing phases and to really work out your belief systems so that you can start achieving the dream life that you want and to get over this anxiety, then you can get my Goddess Glow Up workbook that I have coming out within this week, and you guys will all receive an email for when it's out. I offer psychic sessions. I offer 30 minutes, 60 minutes, and tarot PDFs, workshops. And so I have workshops that come up. All my workshops are recorded, and then they're put onto my online learning area as well. But you can subscribe your email to the newsletter so that you can get when my workshops are coming out. The Goddess Glow Up program is coming up. This is a group setting. I will, depending, February or March is when I'm going to launch this program. And so again, subscribe your email so you can be in this, and you can be in a group setting with a bunch of other women who are just like you. 1-to-1 hourly coaching. And I have like a little star there because this one, we could do our coaching 1-to-1. But you have to do it regularly, because if I'm not keeping you accountable, if you're not keeping yourself accountable, like you can get the workbook and it's great and all, but if you don't have someone keeping you accountable to do the workbook, then it's sort of like, oh, well, it sort of falls off your plate, just like with anything in your life. And that's why coaches or friend groups are really good who have the same mentality as you. That's why there's the Goddess Glow community, and that's why there's me. 1-to-1 monthly coaching. So this is done on a monthly basis. You can have me all month for 1 month if you want to, and then you can like break up the months within the year. And then also this is like my highest tier program, and this is my 1-to-1 high level coaching, and this is for 3 months. And the Goddess Glow workbook is included, it's given, as well as in my monthly coaching. And a payment plan is offered with this high level coaching. But to get the most results to ever that you can ever get is to work with me for 3 months. The Goddess Glow program as well will be 3 months. But the high level coaching, if you really want me on your ass and accountable, then you want the high level coaching. The Goddess Glow program will have an option as well if you do like the group setting, but also have an option as me as a coach there with you at all times, unlimited access. And that's you would have me 5 days a week, 24/5. And then do you have any questions? I'm going to end it here. Okay. I know I went over a little bit of time, especially with like the breakups and stuff, but do you have any?
I think it went really well. That was a lot of really good information. I was taking some notes and just kind of trying to have it marinate because, as you know, and as we've spoken before, I've always had high anxiety for whatever reason, always. And even as a kid, like high anxiety, but only recently have I tried to understand it and not just, kind of shove it away. One thing that did stand out to me in the very like one or two, like the first, second or first slides is the inability to like really create those strong and close friendships. And that's something that stood out to me because I never really thought that would be impacted by anxiety. Like I knew that was something that I always had an issue with, but I just thought like, oh, okay, I'm awkward, whatever. I'm just like awkward person, whatever. I feel off. And so I just thought it was something about my personality that I just kind of accepted, but I had no idea that it had anything to do with anxiety. Would you like, could you elaborate on that a little bit more and help me to understand how they tie together? Because I've definitely like, I feel like I'm not an introvert, I'm not an extrovert. I don't know, maybe I'm just somewhere in between.
Yeah, I'm an ambivert too. Yeah. It's like that outgoing persona, along with like you get drained, so you don't want to be around people.
Exactly. And it depends. Like if I'm around the right set of people and if I'm feeling good, then I can like stay out all, for hours. But if not, then I'd rather just stay to myself. But I've always found that I am outgoing when I want to be. But I don't have an issue like meeting people and forming that initial relationship. But the depth of my relationships haven't really gone that far.
Mm-hmm. And again, because everything is a mirror to you, especially relationships, like you can see how you feel and believe about what is true for you by the relationships that you have in your life. And so if you're, unworthy of love, if you're unlovable, or whatever it may be, anything that stems around like no one can understand you, if you have those beliefs in place, then there's some inner child healing and shadow work that you have to do so that to get over that. And again, you have to really get to know yourself and you have to learn how to love yourself. And when you start learning how to love yourself, you're able to communicate that with other people. And so communication is key. And if you don't even know how to love yourself, like you can't go and be like, okay, love me. Okay, well, like how do I love you? Like do you just need a vent to me? Do you need physical touch? There's different love languages. Do you need hugs often? Do you need me to check up on you once a week? See how you are. Like do you want me to say like, oh my gosh, you're so beautiful, like words of affirmation. So again, like get in tune, figure out your love language and get in tune and tell your friends, tell people how you want to be loved. And quality time seems to be a big one, and spend quality time with your friends. And you will attract people into your life. Everyone in your life is not a coincidence. So everyone has soul contracts. with other people in their lives. And so if you can figure out if it's a karmic, a soulmate relationship, or like a relationship where you made a contract, you're going to teach me this lesson, you're going to teach me that lesson, you're going to help me do this, you're going to help me get there, and you figure out these contracts with people, then you'll be able to pinpoint whether or not you should keep someone in your life or drop them. So again, like everyone's here for a reason. In your life specifically too is a reason, because they're mirroring back to you what you need to learn, what you need to see, whatever is inside of you, so that you can either follow your divine purpose, and also so that you can reach that enlightenment stage, what I call, what they call either heaven, nirvana, whatever you want to call it.
Okay, everything that you're saying makes a lot of sense. You did bring up something else too that made me realize, like, I think I'm privileged to have like really amazing parents that did their best, and I really have like no resentment against them, and I love them. But I never thought about the developmental stages between 1 and 6 and how that probably affected me, because it's just making me realize, like, between that exact period of time for me is when my parents had devoted themselves to working a lot, so I would stay with my grandma a lot. And not saying that anybody's wrong here in this situation or that they didn't do a good job, because they were just doing what they thought was best, but my grandma was raised to raise us in a way where there was like a lot of guilt, a lot of shame, the way that we were disciplined. We were taught not to talk, like, when in the presence of superiors or other, like people older than us, basically. And those are a lot of things that I never realized that probably impact me now as an adult.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I'm just like a little bit, mind blown how I never realized that until recently. And I don't even really know what that means exactly, like if how to rewire that. But I guess it goes back to the positive self-talk and doing inner child healing. So
Yeah.
just hearing you say, like, okay, it's a fact that between the ages of like 1 and 6 is how you're a sponge, you'll absorb that and take that pretty much for the rest of your life. Like, okay, fuck, I kind of realize now why I have so much guilt, why I have so much shame, even though I don't need to feel it, or why I feel like I have to be perfect all the time, is because of those things. And it's not like my parents put that on me, because they didn't, but it was like other people who were raising me at the time, or who had a big influence in raising me at the time, had those kinds of influences. So
Yeah. And you can still too, like you can still develop beliefs now. After the age of 18, that's like where 5% of your beliefs come from. And so say like you get into a relationship with someone, and the relationship sucks. And so you start developing a belief like, all men fucking suck. All men are this. Or like, you go on like online dating, and like you start, all men are just scum. They're pigs. All they want is sex. And so like those are belief systems that you just come up with, from your past experiences. But is it true? You have to ask yourself a lot. Is it true? Like, no, not all men suck. Like I met a bunch of men who were actually really conscious. Was I interested in them, or there was just no connection?
yeah.
There's still good men out there. It's just the one that I'm looking for is out there somewhere. So, it was just probably the one scumbag that you ended up being with, or maybe 3 of them. You just got lucky. But again, that's like you. And again, people they want to be right. Your subconscious mind is going to look out to be right. You don't want to be wrong. The ego doesn't want to be wrong. And so when you know this, you're like, oh shit, like my subconscious mind is going to make all of these habits, all these beliefs right. So my ego is going to make it right too. Your subconscious mind is going to go out and search for those beliefs. If you believe that you're unloving and unworthy, you're going to start bringing people who will show you that you're unlovable. and you're not worthy of love, you know? Your subconscious mind will search it out. And it's like, internally, like, this person's not good for me.
Yeah.
But you do it anyway. You develop that relationship anyway,
And okay, so why is that? Like, yeah, why does that happen? Even if like deep down this is not cool, this is not okay, or if like even in previous relationships, like I've so easily walked away the second I felt disrespected. Like, why is it so hard for me now?
So there's underlying beliefs that you have to figure out what they are. Good ways, meditations. I'll be creating some meditations that will help with the inner child healing as well, because there might be some events that you're just unaware of where a belief came from, and you have this belief because of this event. But again, it's stored in your subconscious mind. Your conscious mind right now is like what you're like looking through and stuff, but and like your logical part of your mind trying to figure all of this out, but your
Yeah.
subconscious mind will just tell you if you ask it. Before I go to bed, I like to ask my subconscious mind. I'm just like, because your subconscious mind is always running. Your conscious mind is the one that sleeps. And so I'm like, okay, subconscious mind, I have a task for you. This is the task for you, and you need to figure it out by morning. All right? All right. And then like I'll dream something and be like, and I'll wake up and I'm like the first 10 minutes when you're still in like that theta state, that's like the thoughts that you want from your subconscious mind. You're just like, oh, that's the answer. And so then you go and you write it down somewhere instead of looking at your phone or whatever, because that time is really important. Ask your subconscious mind why you believe some of the stuff that you do. It helps.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Does that
Yeah, no, I just feel like every time I talk with you in a really good way, I just feel like I have this to-do list now. So I just am adding to my to-do list.
yeah. All right. I'm gonna